Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Today we are going to handle swapping out the steering rack on the Razor. Basically, summation of what this is going to entail. We need to take the front out. We need to remove the winch. There is a front frame clip that needs to get removed. We need to drop the lower A-arms. And then the front diff. There's two bolts in there that kind of hold it in place. I believe I'm taking out the front bolt and it's going to pivot down. No, I think I'm taking the rear bolt out and it's going to pivot down from the front. And then I should have enough room to remove the existing steering rack. The reason we're doing that, it's starting to wear out. It's got some tough miles on it, so we're gonna make sure we get that cleaned up. To start, I'm gonna remove my tie rods. I'm gonna be careful about marking left and right, because although it doesn't matter, I'm just gonna do it. It's just kind of how I do it. Had somebody give me a shout out on, they like seeing DeWalt tools, so I thought I'd show the toy drawer. Those are most of them. We've got a few more over here. And a few more down there. One Rogue Bosch. I believe got a few more hanging around here somewhere. Oh yeah, down here. There's a few more in there. Anyway, I think how I'm gonna film this. This is probably gonna be a little bit more of a boring video. I think what I'm just going to do is put on a time lapse. All right, guys. I took the tie rod off on the driver's side. Never mind all that grease in there and grime. That's my steering rack. It's just white lithium grease in there that I packed in there last time I tried to clean up this slop and failed. So I took the tie rod off. I visually inspected before I got started that the steering rack looked to be, the same, no problem. So I took off this guy right here, which is the shock therapy tie rod. And it's a billet piece. It's a nice piece. This is the retaining nut off the steering rack. And I just wanted to make dang sure that it fit this new rack. And sure enough, I go on here and, oh, it's a totally different thread. So, for all I know, Super 8 TV told me this. I don't even know. I didn't pay attention. I ordered a steering rack for a Pro XP, and those guys have never steered me wrong. They've been great. So, I don't know what the mix-up is. But I just ordered the cheapest tie rods they had because they only sell this steering rack with their ends, if you will, and or their tie rod ends. And you can choose good, better, best, and I chose the cheapest ones because I planned on reusing the shock therapy heim joint and tie rod ends. That's what I want to use. I don't want to use theirs. So this is going to go back. Again, I don't know if this is my mix-up or theirs. I suspect, you know, that's why they sell them with their tie rods, because they know the thread's different. I personally would rather, you know, there be a note or something to say, hey, you've got to use our tie rods, and maybe there is, and I just didn't see it. I don't know. But regardless, this is going to go back, and I'm just going to order a stock Polaris steering rack. So I won't get done today, but that doesn't mean I can't strip it down today. So that's what I'm going to do. So you win some, you lose some. All right, we're getting caught up here. Tie rods are out. We've taken the lower A-arms out on both sides. And now what we've got to do is we've got to drop this front subframe. So we're going to take out these guys, these, and then there's 4 bolts underneath that we've got to take out. And those are supposed to be single-use nuts holding the bottom subframe together. I ran into this when I replaced my A-arms up front. These nuts, that's what she said. Anyway, they are, if you don't take them out perfect, they'll heat up and the threads will get kind of messed up. So that's why I was not using impacts or anything, which I'm the guy that says he took them out by hand and used an impact. I mean, I put my lugs on with an impact. I'm that guy. So don't use an impact on those fasteners, is what I'm telling you. Anyway, I'm going to get started taking that apart. I'll put you back on the time lapse. I just thought I'd give you a quick update where I'm at. So I quickly removed the 4 nuts and bolts on the front, and I just put 2 more in loose so that when I take out these 4 big bolts in the back, this thing doesn't just swing down and hit me. One of the bolts did, I think it was that one, just completely fell and busted up my lip, but I think I get into that later, but came off just fine. All right, having some mic fail issues here, but I'm just setting up the clip for you. Basically, I'm telling you, you've got to go under here and remove the drift pin holding the U-joint from the front drive shaft or drive line into the front diff. So I've got to punch that out And then I'm going to go to the other side, and I'm going to show you the bolt that is to the rear of the car, and that allows the front diff to pivot down. So over on this side, I've got to show you the bolt that we're going to remove from the front diff. That's this guy right here. And then there's an electrical connector just above my finger on that vertical upright. You got to unplug that. That's your electronic diff lock. Then there's also a bolt in the universal from the steering shaft here, and I'm pointing that out. You remove all those, the diff will swing down with some persuasion, and then you'll be able to get the bolts or the nuts off the steering rack and remove your steering rack from the machine. It took a little bit of persuasion. You know, there's mud caked in there, grime. It doesn't always want to just swing down, but it should be fine once you get that done. All right, we're back. Steering rack is out. Diff is tipped. And here's my factory rack. There is a little bit of play. It's not much, but it's exactly what I was feeling. So, unfortunately, a lot of work. This thing's served me well. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's been a good good part. Just wore out. That's fine. Again, I'm gonna have to box up that Super ATV steering rack and send that back. So stay tuned for part 2. That's pretty much gonna do it for me today. I mean, there isn't a whole lot else I could do. I could, you know, kind of, you know, change fluids and whatnot, but I think what I'm going to do is just clean up my tools. Oh, by the way, there's that front frame section that comes out. I didn't show you that, but that came out really good. The bolts, they look good too. I'll probably reuse those. I've got some new nuts coming. I might use them just because. But anyway, that's about as far as I can take the front. I don't want to work on fluid change or anything like that. I'd rather just get this thing back together. Make sure you got room to put all the parts. That's what you're gonna have. All right, I'm back, everybody. Got cleaned up. Disregard the fat lip. My wife punched me. Just kidding. When I was taking one of the frame bolts out, it popped me right in the upper lip. Busted it up pretty good. Anyway, so I'm in the shower, kind of pissed off about the steering rack, and then it dawned on me, I should watch my own damn videos. I remembered when I did the original install on the shock therapy tie rods, I had to modify my steering rack. This is what I mean. All right, so here we go. Here's the steering rack. This is obviously the old one. This is the jam nut that you tighten up to the tie rod. And obviously I'm like, well, this ain't gonna work. So I'm thinking I'm screwed. Well, then I remember, well, wait a minute. This comes off. Obviously I've pre-loosened this to confirm I'm not an idiot. All right, I already proved I was a shade tree mechanic wannabe when I realized, oh yeah, I forgot. This goes on this. This is from Shock Therapy. Great part. Want to reuse it. Then I went, well, what happens when I pull off this guy? All right, I pull off the boot. Lo and behold, this comes off. Now, I'm not making fun of the Super ATV kit because I got the cheapest tie rods thinking I would never use them. So obviously the shock therapy joint here is much larger than the Super ATV. But again, I got the cheapest dang part I could find because I really only needed this. So I take that guy off. And then I go and, oh my word, that thread's right on there. No problemo. So, moral of the story, I apologize to Super ATV for calling them out and filing a bullshit return. As soon as they respond to that, I'm going to cancel it because I'm going to be installing this rack. Unfortunately, just not today. I ran out of time. As soon as I went and got cleaned up, imagine this, the wife had other plans for the afternoon then. Plus we got the Super Bowl is tonight, so we want to watch that. And I kind of feel like, you know, not doing this anymore. I was pumped up. Now I'm not so much anymore. So anyway, old rack is out. Super ATV rack is back in. And make sure you think things through before you just go assuming a part's not going to work. That's my moral to you. I'm going to still put this in the video, make me look like a fool, because maybe it'll help somebody else. I don't know. If not, you guys can make fun of me in the comments. Thanks and take care. Just wanted to say thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.